When you are finished reading the definition, sales restriction.
The sale of CFC, HCFC, HFC, and HFO refrigerants to service or install refrigeration and air conditioning equipment is restricted to technicians who are EPA certified in refrigerant recovery.
Chlorine.
The element of a CFC or HCFC molecule that causes ozone depletion. The chlorine in CFCs and HCFCs will not dissolve in water or easily break down in the atmosphere. Each chlorine atom in the stratosphere can destroy 100,000 ozone molecules.
Ozone.
The ozone layer protects the Earth from ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Ozone in the stratosphere, above the Earth, consists of molecules containing 3 oxygen atoms. Depletion of ozone in the stratosphere is a global problem.
Stratospheric ozone.
Stratospheric ozone helps form the Earth's protective shield. CFC and HCFC refrigerants damage stratospheric ozone. One of the most serious results of damage to the stratospheric ozone layer is increased rates of skin cancer in humans. Other human health effects from damage to the stratospheric ozone layer include increased cases of cataracts. Environmental effects of stratospheric ozone depletion include decreased crop yields and damage to marine organisms. Chlorofluorocarbon, or CFC, and hydrochlorofluorocarbon, or HCFC, use in the U.S., is being phased out to stop damage to the ozone layer. R22 is an example of a refrigerant that damages the ozone layer.
CFC.
Chlorofluorocarbon. CFC refrigerants are the most harmful to stratospheric ozone and have the highest ozone depletion potential. Because CFCs do not dissolve in water, they cannot be rained out of the atmosphere. Examples of CFC refrigerants include R12.
ODP.
ODP stands for ozone depletion potential. ODP is the ability of a substance to destroy ozone in the stratosphere. CFCs have the highest ODP.
GWP.
GWP stands for global warming potential. GWP provides a comparison of global warming impacts of different gases over a span of time. R600A in HC has a low GWP, while the GWP of R410A, compared to carbon dioxide, is thousands of times greater.
HFO.
An HFO is a hydrofluoroolefin. An A2L refrigerant class with non-ozone depleting and low global warming potential characteristics. HFOs typically have the lowest global warming potential, or GWP. HFO refrigerants are less flammable than hydrocarbon refrigerants because they contain fluorine, but are still mildly flammable. Examples of HFO refrigerants include R1234YF.
CO2.
Carbon dioxide. Used as the baseline measurement for global warming potential, or GWP.
High-pressure refrigerant.
Refrigerants with pressures between 155 psig and 340 psig at a liquid phase temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Examples include R410A.
Low-pressure refrigerant.
Refrigerants with pressures of 30 psig or lower, at a liquid phase temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Examples include R123,
HCFC.
hydrochlorofluorocarbon. HCFC refrigerants contain hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon.
SNAP.
SNAP stands for the Significant New Alternatives Policy Program. This is EPA's program that identifies refrigerants with lower overall risks to human health and the environment.
Montreal Protocol.
An international treaty that addresses ozone-depleting substances and their alternatives.
$44,539.
The amount per day, per violation a technician can be fined for violating the Clean Air Act, including knowingly releasing non-exempt refrigerant from appliances.
AHRI 700.
The standard reclaimed refrigerant must meet before it can be resold.
Desiccant dehumidifier.
An appliance that is not covered by EPA Section 608 regulations.
Self-contained or active recovery devices.
Self-contained or active recovery devices remove refrigerant from an appliance without the assistance of components in the appliance.
Active recovery devices.
Active recovery devices are the same as self-contained recovery devices. They remove refrigerant from an appliance without the assistance of components in the appliance.
System-dependent recovery devices.
System-dependent recovery devices are recovery equipment that relies on the compressor in the appliance and/or the pressure of the refrigerant in the appliance.
Refrigerant recovery cylinder.
A refrigerant recovery cylinder is also known as a refillable or reusable cylinder. Recovery cylinders, designed to hold recovered refrigerants, have a gray body and yellow top and must not be filled above 80% of its capacity by weight. Reusable containers for refrigerants that are under high pressure, above 15 psig, at normal ambient temperature must be hydrostatically tested every 5 years.
Silicone elastomers.
Silicone elastomers, when used as seals and gaskets, are not compatible with HFO refrigerants.
Department of Transportation, or DOT.
The Department of Transportation sets regulations pertaining to the transport and shipping of refrigerant cylinders. Used refrigerant in a cylinder must have a proper label, or DOT classification tag on the refrigerant container. Portable refillable tanks or containers used to ship CFC or HCFC refrigerants, obtained with recovery equipment, must meet DOT standards. Refrigerant cylinders should be positioned upright when shipped. DOT regulations require the number of cylinders of each gas to be recorded on the shipping paper for hazard class 2.2, non-flammable compressed gases.
Carbon dioxide, or CO2.
Carbon dioxide, as a refrigerant, can be purchased by someone who is not a Section 608 certified technician.
Section 608 certified technician.
It is required to be a Section 608 certified technician to purchase or handle controlled refrigerants, which may include removing refrigerant, replacing a component, or performing any activity that violates the refrigerant circuit. It is not required if rewiring an external electric circuit. Distributors must verify that a purchaser is or employs a Section 608 certified technician when selling HCFC or HFC refrigerant.
A3.
An ASHRAE refrigerant safety classification. An A3 classification indicates a higher flammability refrigerant.
AE2L.
ASHRAE Refrigerant Safety Classification. An A2L indicates lower flammability.
Safety data sheet.
Safety data sheets or SDS should be reviewed by the technician when working with any solvents, chemicals, or refrigerants.
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
In the event of a large release of CFC, HCFC, or HFC refrigerant in a contained area, self-contained breathing apparatus or leaving the area is required.
Pressurized nitrogen.
Pressurized nitrogen is a gas that should be used to leak check a system that has been opened for a major system repair.
Recycle.
Cleaning refrigerant for immediate reuse by oil separation and single or multiple passes through devices like replaceable core filter dryers, which reduce moisture and acidity.
Reclaim.
Reclaiming is the process that returns refrigerant to new product specifications and requires chemical analysis.
Recover.
Removing refrigerant in any condition from a system and storing it in an external container without testing or processing it in any way.
Compressor.
A compressor is a refrigerant system component that changes a low-pressure vapor to a high-pressure vapor. The state of the refrigerant entering the compressor is a low-pressure vapor. Refrigerant enters the compressor of a refrigeration system as a superheated vapor.
500 microns.
500 microns is the minimum evacuation level that should be achieved in most refrigeration systems before charging the system.
Fractionation.
The change in composition of a blend because one or more of the components is lost or removed faster than the others. When using blended refrigerants in systems that develop a leak, fractionation may occur. A refrigerant likely to experience fractionation is R407C.
Gauge manifold set.
The color of the low-pressure gauge on a typical gauge manifold set is blue. The color of the high-pressure gauge on a typical gauge manifold set is red.
Condenser.
A condenser is a refrigerant system component where the refrigerant changes from a high-pressure vapor to a high-pressure liquid. Refrigerant leaves the condenser as a high-pressure liquid.
Retrofit.
Make a change to an appliance in order to convert it to use a different refrigerant.
Alkylbenzene.
A synthetic lubricant presently used with ternary blends containing HCFCs.
AE1.
ASHRAE Refrigerant Safety Classification. An A1 designation is considered the safest.
Ternary blend.
A ternary blend is a three-part mixture refrigerant.
Temperature glide.
Temperature glide is the term used to describe the fact that a refrigerant blend has a range of bubble or dew points at a constant pressure.
Polyester oil.
Polyester oil is a synthetic oil commonly used in new HFC systems and for retrofitting HCFC equipment to HFC refrigerants.
Azeotropic refrigerant mixture.
An azeotropic refrigerant mixture is unique in the fact that the mixture acts like a single component refrigerant over its entire range.
Oxygen deprivation.
Oxygen deprivation is the major cause of death in most refrigerant accidents.
Alcohol spray.
Alcohol spray is used to remove ice from sight glasses or viewing glasses.
Congratulations, you have completed this course. Click the Exit button in the top right corner.